Hello, welcome. It was suggested a while ago to get a microphone, and I finally decided to get one. So hopefully, the sound quality is enhanced, enhanced for your audio pleasure. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyways, how's your day going? I hope you are having a beautiful day, as always. This video, it's gonna talk about the Mother Teresa syndrome. I don't know if there's such a thing. I just honestly made that up. And I mentioned it in some of my previous videos. I'm going to try and attach this so I don't have to hold it. Or should I hold it? I don't know. Yeah, like Mother Teresa syndrome. Like, I think people who are apt to people pleasing, empaths specifically, empaths, love to people please. The reason why we want to people please is because we are so hypersensitive to being able to feel and um, process the energy around us. And whenever anyone or anything seems off kilter or off balance, it kind of throws us off balance. So our knee jerk reaction is to get in there and to help and save and fix and, put things back, put disorderly things back into orderly um, places, if that even makes sense. Like even for me, like personally, my house, I it it's clutter free, guys. I need to keep some kind of order, or else it kind of like throws me off balance. Yeah, things like not making my bed. Yeah, I don't know if that. I don't know. People want to say that's OCD, whatever. Let's just keep making up labels for things, whatever. Make up excuses. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to stop. No, but let's talk about Mother Teresa syndrome. Um, the thing is, like, if everything is a projection and reality is basically constructed through the lens of how you perceive things, you know, um, yeah, I think like we encountered our fair share of pain growing up, and we didn't want other people to feel that pain, you know. Whereas narcissists, they probably felt the same kind of pain, but instead of like, wanting to help or shield others from feeling that pain, they just kind of wanted to throw the pain and perpetuate the pain onto others. I mean, that's what it is. Empath and narcissist is the same thing. It's just we're like we're like the same tool. It's just what are you using the tool for? Are you using it for construction or destruction? That's all it is. You know, we're two sides of the same coin. It's just like any tool. How are you using it for construction or destruction? And honestly, both are necessary because I've said this in other videos. Like, if you didn't have the narcissist around, then how would the empath awaken and ascend to higher levels of consciousness? You know, it's almost like the narcissist becomes the fuel that is necessary for us to expand, and like break out of, I want to say, current identities that we've been carrying, you know? But yeah, for me, like, it's so important to live intentionally. And my encounter with really bad relationships, emotionally abusive, emotionally neglectful relationships, have finally taught me this, you know? Um, yeah, just living really intentional, being intentional on who you give your time to, who you give your energy to, who has access to your resources, being very intentional with that, intentional about where you're emotionally investing, you know, um, protecting your heart, protecting your energy, conserving it, for people who actually care about you and want you to be well, you know? Yeah, not just like blindly giving it away to like every single person who's in pain. Like I would like drop everything. I remember when I was younger, I would drop everything when there was like a injured animal, and I'd like totally just lose it if like the animal in my care died. I couldn't. And then as you get older, the more you experience life, the more you encounter situations, the more resilient you become, the more, you realize that that's life, life's lifing, and you just gotta go with it. You know what I mean? When you hold on, you suffer. When you let go and surrender, you release all of that pain, all that weight, all that stuff. But yeah, Mother Teresa syndrome. Yeah, I what I equate a Mother Teresa syndrome to is basically someone who's just super um hyper servitude to those that are in need. Is that the definition that I want to throw at you? Yeah, just like self-sacrificial in order to ease the pain of others. But then I feel like in that timeline, that was necessary. Moving forward into this timeline, maybe we need to reassess, because the environment has changed, the population, the amount of people on the planet has changed, um, mental constructs, the way information is distributed has changed, and yeah, I feel like before, like back in those days, you probably really did have people that were in need of care and service and love. Currently, I've noted and I've been exposed to these things. So that was that kind of blindsided me, honestly, because I was still living in the timeline of Mother Teresa. Yeah, this timeline, and I'm not saying this to create paranoia, but you have a lot of people who are opportunists. They're, what is that? Energy gold diggers. Like they're going to trick you and manipulate you, pull the wool over your eyes, create um illusions, and future fake, false promises. You know, um, Play on your heartstrings, gaslight you. What is that? Love bomb you into um, giving, opening your access, so they can just like use you as like their own personal ATM. What is ATM anyway? Whatever, just like withdrawing funds, withdrawing energy, withdrawing attention that was never really earned. No, thank you. Yeah, but like my whole thing is like intentional living. Like when you go out in the world, no matter who you encounter or what you encounter, just being very intentional on like observing things, assessing things, and intentionally deciding if you would like to participate or not participate in like interactions. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like don't, like for instance, this is a good example. Like I think a lot of people like emotionally eat and emotionally shop to self-soothe. It's not intentional. It's just kind of like a knee-jerk reaction in the moment to distract yourself from your current circumstance because maybe it makes you feel uncomfortable. So it's definitely not intentional. So I work in retail, and I definitely encourage women not to impulse buy. It's all about intentional spending. You know what I mean? Like I mean, some people, I mean, I'm not going to tell them like, don't buy something if they feel compelled to do it in the moment. But say like they're kind of like, I don't know, on the fence and they're not sure and they're like questioning themselves and they're very confused. I will kind of guide their decision making abilities towards not impulse buying. So I'll let them know. I'm like, hey man, you really don't have to pressure yourself out about this decision. Like if you want, I can hold the item and you can sleep on it and let it kind of like process. And if you still really want that item, it'll be here waiting for you. And if not, no big deal. It's all about intentional living, like really being able to discern like what's good for you and what's not good for you and making appropriate cuts. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like for me, I think I've mentioned in other videos and I feel like you can relate to this, but I'm like highly observational. I like to like watch things. Like for instance, this is this is a really funny, well, I think it's funny. This is a funny example. So I'm having breakfast the other day at a restaurant and this fly is flying around, right? And the person I'm with is getting really irritated with the fly's presence. And I'm just kind of like, dude, just chill, you know? And yeah, like for me, I'll just watch the fly. And the fly, like, landed on dishware and cutlery, and you could see his little proboscis just kind of like trying to feed upon whatever particles that it came into contact with. And I just find that fascinating. But if you're over there doing this, you won't be able to like view something in its natural state, you know? Same with people, especially with people. If you condemn them straight away, which is a form of not even accepting them, how can you observe them in their natural state? And if you don't observe them in their natural state, then how are you going to know what you're working with? How will you know if this person is a worthwhile investment or something that is not necessarily good for you? You won't. That's why like observing and just observing things in real time is so fun. Like I don't know, I think it's fun. I guess for somebody who is impatient, that's not fun. But for me, I'm like, yeah, I could like watch. I don't know. I could just sit outside and watch my cats like do cat things, and then it helps me to understand things more. Like when you sit in that stillness and you just observe and you allow life to be. You know. But yeah, the Mother Teresa syndrome. We've been projecting the way we respond to pain onto others, and that enables bad behavior. So I feel like it's really important to just let things be. Because everybody is on their own journey and they have their own lessons and they have a life that is tailored for their soul's growth. And if you interfere with that, then they might bypass a very essential lesson, because you interfered. It's not caring. In fact, I feel like caring is just allowing something to be just as it wants to be. Like, and it's so funny, like in relationships, like we get really like, I don't know, I think because of our expectations, we expect loyalty, we expect, reciprocation, we expect the same amount or level of care and consideration, but everybody can, everybody's level of care and consideration and respect is different from yours. Not everybody loves the way you do. And, if they don't love the way you do, it's just like, instead of crucifying, just like step back and go, okay, this person is only capable of this. And, you know, this doesn't, how do I say this? Either you can't fulfill their needs or they can't fulfill yours, and that's that. Leave it at that, you know? Like, for instance, if people are manipulators or cheaters, you got to call a spade a spade. You don't want to like pretend and say, oh, I can help this person change. No, that person needs to change on their own. And you need to call a spade a spade. And if you don't want to actively, synergistically yoke your energy to somebody who's a cheater or manipulator, then you need to release yourself. You need to release them. And it's as simple as that. No emotional, I don't know why I'm thinking drudgery, but that's not the word I'm trying to say. No emotional resentment or, you know, reactions necessary. You just acknowledge that, just like how I'm acknowledging that this lighter's pink and it produces a flame, you know. Do I need this flame in my life? Do I not need this flame? That is a question, and it's not personal, you know. You're not gonna get mad at the, oh my God, lighter, why are you pink? Why are you able to create flames? I don't like that. No, it's a lighter, it's pink, it creates flames. I don't need that in my life, but you're wonderful. Keep doing you over there. And then just moving along. You know? Too many people take things too personally, I feel. Anyways, I don't know. This ramble was all over the place, and I don't really know that I like drove the message home, but if you learned something, cool. If you didn't learn anything, that's cool too. And I don't know if this has enhanced your audio experience, but yeah, I hope it did. And if it didn't, that's cool too. Tomato, tomato. Keep taking care of yourself. Just focus on living intentionally. Oh, another thing I've noticed. So, like, how like we have the roller coaster ride of emotions, energy and motion, the highs and the lows and the in betweens. How like when it's low, we have a tendency to react to that. And then when it's high, we have a tendency to like attach ourselves to that. And in between, we get bored, because we want this or this. Dude, just be okay. Just love everything. Love love it if you're here. I know, easier said than done. Love it when you're here. Love it when you're here. Love it when you're in between. And just have no like preferred state, I suppose. It just game changer. Game changer, because you don't expect anything to be except as it is. You don't expect life to show up any different than how it shows up. You don't expect you to show up any different than how you show up. You don't even have to be better. You just have to accept yourself as you are in the moment. If you're in a bad mood, you're in a bad mood. If you're in a glad mood, you're in a glad mood. If you're somewhere in between and it's boring, that's okay too. If you love it, if you accept it, not a big deal. You're not at war with yourself. You're not at war with your environment. You're not at war with like circumstances or people, you know? Like if you have that annoying coworker that just can't stop talking about themselves, just go, okay, man, this is my coworker. I'm annoyed, and yeah, they can't stop talking about themselves, and it's not personal. This is literally lifing, and eventually it will pass. And I'm just not going to lose my shit about this. Hmm. Yeah, and if you just kind of like accept things as it is from a very neutral standpoint, it's really hard for anything to really affect your energy, including yourself, because we have tendencies, most especially, to sabotage ourselves and to like I don't know, neglect ourselves and deny ourselves and like what is that word? Fight ourselves. When you can just be like, man, like right now I'm feeling these feelings, I'm thinking these thoughts. Just gonna observe it. Not personal. You know, you win some, you lose some. I don't even think you lose anything, do you? Nah, man, we don't lose anything. We're always gaining something. You're gaining a lesson, you know, gaining the lesson and expanding or contracting or constructing or deconstructing depending on what life is dealing us in that moment, I suppose. Anyways, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna keep talking. This is kind of fun, actually. I have like two of them. What happens if you like turn two of them on? I'm curious. You know, I'm a curious person, right? What happens if you turn like two of them on at a time? Do they like interfere? Like, does the signal interfere, or is it louder? Check, 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 check one. I am so not a DJ. Okay, I'm gonna go. Have the best day ever, and take care. Thanks for stopping by. Blessings to one and all. Amen.